is William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I welcome you to another Two Hats special of community events. Let's look in and see what's really happening.
And good afternoon and welcome to Lambda Weekly. I'm Dave Taffet here in the studio with Lerone Landis. Patti is in London covering the royal wedding. Our guest today
That's
is...
next weekend.
Well, you have to fly there. So we'll cut to Patti in a minute for a report. Our guest today is Candy Marcum. Candy is a counselor, always comes for Pledge Drive. And Candy, welcome. Thank you for being here for the second week of our Pledge Drive. And speaking of Pledge Drive, the number is 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. Joshes are standing by waiting for your call. Lerone?
And we have our usual pledges, but they're always great, and some of the shirts are actually kind of new. You can get a royal blue T-shirt with the red Knon, Voice of the People design in the front of it. That's sizes from small through 4XL. Wow. And, you know, they look like, if you're a Rangers fan, that's kind of what it looks like. Except we can't hold it up.
Because Candy is wearing one.
Because Candy is wearing
I'm wearing my red one.
Yeah, we can't hold it up to the mic. But we always have those. We also have, we told about this last week, we have now baseball caps. And those have the Voice of the People design on it. And you can give it a pledge of $50, we'll get you one of those. So give us a call.
This is a football town. We really should have Knon football.
Helmets.
That's what they're called. Right. I know that.
Helmets.
I'm laughing today. I have to think about that. What it's called. Give us a call at 972-647-1893. We know you appreciate us. We hear comments about us all the time, whether it be in person or on social media. But you got to help.
Or behind your back.
Or behind our back, like, oh, wow. But in order to keep that dialogue that we have on this show going, you got to help us out. Give us a call at 972-647-1893.
And let's see if we can hook up with Patti in London, who can tell us more about Pledge Drive.
If you're listening from, I'm reporting from London, and we're not collecting things in pounds, British pounds, or euros.
We'll accept pounds or euros.
Preferably U.S. dollars.
Uh-huh.
Call us at 972-647-1893.
And that was Patti being useful as usual.
Well, we have to prep for the royal wedding is next weekend, and I have a friend who's an extreme Anglophile who is having a garden party. So we'll be having finger sandwiches and scones and clotted cream.
And we should set her up with Josh, who's an Anglophobe.
Oh, it's a he.
Oh, we should set him up with Josh, who's an Anglophobe.
No, I'm not.
Well, he has Aaron for that.
Never broken with England.
You're thinking we should never have broken with England.
See, Aaron hates this stuff, and
I do too.
A British friend of mine called her Killjoy Moore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I completely have no interest in any of that. And that's all the coverage is going to be this week. That's all we're going to hear about. But give us a call. It is Pledge Drive 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893.
I'm going to be getting a fascinator. And I don't know if you know what a fascinator is.
I have no idea.
Somebody's fascinated with you?
No, it's a hat. Remember Eugenie's hat at the last royal wedding? The really...
I remember. I dream of Jeannie's hat.
These are elaborate hats that you wear to weddings in Britain.
They have feathers and birds in them and things like
all
that.
Kinds of things. So you can order fascinators on Amazon.
Is there a Knon one that we have as a pledge drive?
We would need... That would be awesome to have a Knon fascinator.
It would. We could
Not
use
just
one
a
of the
baseball cap, but a real
Who would actually wear one out?
Patti.
I'm wearing it to the garden party.
There you go. There you go.
And only the garden party.
That's 972-647-1893. Josh is standing by. Actually, he's on the phone right now, which is great. We appreciate when you call and pledge to KNON. Candy, very often when you're on, we just talk about normal everyday situations that we run into. And I ran into one a few weeks ago when I was down in Florida. It was National Walkout Day, and so I said to my cousin who I was staying with, hey, let's go down to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, which is 2 towns away from where she lives. And she looked at me like I was out of my mind, but of course I am. So we went. And as we drove to the school, we saw the kids out in a park across the street from the school, so I went over. We drove over there, and Lola, who was on our show last week, great kid. She is smart. She is articulate. She is everything that any high school teacher would love to have in a student. But so were all the other kids that I met there. I walked over to them, and Lola stuck out her hand, and she said, hi, I'm a crisis actor. I love this kid. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, the NRA, in order to marginalize these kids, have said the event never happened, these people were never killed, these were people who were just hired by who knows who, the anti-NRA, I guess, in order to deflect from our thoughts and prayers. And what I want to know is, when you're running into a situation like this, like you happen to be encountering kids who just endured losing their friends to gunfire in school or in any situation, the Las Vegas shooting, the Pulse nightclub what do you say to these kids? I was almost at a loss, and I'll tell you what I told them afterwards. But what would you say to kids like this?
Well, first, what I liked is she still had her sense of humor, even though she'd gone through what I call PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, seeing your friends shot, seeing your friends killed, seeing everyone out of control, and then seeing a group of people who say, guns don't kill, people kill.
And the event in your school didn't happen.
Right. And that you're just a hired actor. Her ability to find the humor in that, I thought, was very healthy. And she's calm, she's cool-headed, she's a good student. She's a gal that's going to be, and is, active in what's going on.
The only reason she wasn't in studio last week was because she had AP exams last week, and she had to stay home to study.
Right. How smart is that? People would love to have a free trip to Dallas to be on the radio. I've got to study.
She was dying to come for the weekend.
I love that. So I really, these kids, these adolescents have so much courage. They are doing what the adults need to be doing, which is to take a stand, to tell the truth, that there is no reason in the world that anyone needs an AK-15 in America, and that we need to protect these children. We need to protect everyone.
I had asked her on the air about counseling, and she said there was some counseling, immediately following when they were finally welcomed back to the school 2 weeks after the shooting. But I don't think she didn't sound like she was that impressed with the counseling. She said that now they don't even have it at all now unless you seek it out.
As if a week or two of counseling, that'll get you over losing two friends.
With post-traumatic stress disorder, you're in shock. And you're in shock for probably a month. That doesn't mean you don't need someone right up front. I mean, that's a good idea. But it needs to keep going. Because what happens is you play the scenes over and over and over again in your head. Someone may strike a match, and that brings up something to you that happened that day. Someone may drop a book on the floor. Immediately you duck. Things you never did before. That's post-traumatic stress.
One of the things she described was the loud noise, and especially in a school stairwell, it echoed.
Yeah.
And so she described this noise, and you hear something like that again,
Yes,
it's going to set it off.
It triggers it. Because what happens with memory is that memory comes in and it goes in the right file folders and it goes in the right file drawers. But when it's trauma, it's fragmented when it comes in. So it's in the wrong folders, it's in the wrong file drawers, and so things will set it off that you don't see coming until you continue to be able to talk about it, till you are able to write about it, to draw about it, all these things that these kids have going for them. They need to do that until they don't need to do it anymore.
So what would you say to the parents? Like, okay, your kid appears to be fine, but would you stress to the parents that, your kids need to stay in counseling?
Yes, and they need to be able to talk about it at the table.
Yeah.
They are not wimpy. They're not wusses. They're dealing with how to find a place for what happened in their minds. So I would say to the parents, don't get in front of the kids. Stay behind your kiddo as they try to work this through and be open to hearing about it. They don't want to hear about it either. The parents are traumatized too.
Absolutely.
So the parents may need to go talk to someone. And if you are someone who has had trauma in your past, and almost everyone has, even those 15-year-olds, it brings up that trauma. So now you're dealing with 2 or 3 different things.
And it's amazing too how many people experience it from smells.
Yes,
The
lighting a
olfactory
match. Yes.
The olfactory sense is enormously powerful. We associate it with so many things.
It's
Sometimes
the most
good.
powerful sense for memory. It's more powerful than sight, than
Really?
hearing, your olfactory, than tasting.
So how often should a kid like that go to counseling? Somebody like Lola, who seems to be doing okay, her grades have not suffered, she has lots of friends, so she has a good support system around her. I met her mother. Her mother is very supportive. Her mother was standing there at the school waiting for her when she finally got
that's
out.
great.
And she's just a real sweet person, her mom. But
I would think weekly for a
To
while,
start.
once a week. I think it would be a great idea to have an adolescent group and meet with them for an hour and a half, maybe once a week, just so they can tell the story over and over again. But I'll say that if someone says, well, I'm done, I don't really need to come this week, then I'd be fine to go every other week. But I think that group setting would be perfect for these kids, and not just the first 2 weeks that it happened.
right.
They
That's
need
what
to do
seemed
this over and over
that's what
again.
seemed odd to me, that there weren't extra counselors available throughout the semester.
I would just say
Right.
it was lack of knowledge, not knowing about trauma. It's the only thing I can come up with.
A lot of times you hear celebrities talk about they don't watch TV, they don't read the newspapers, don't read the magazines because of the criticism and bad press that they hear or read, whether it be true or not. Would you recommend that to these kids? Because, being called a crisis actor, first of all, it's flat out cruel. But just stay away from it. Stay away from it during this healing process.
I think
As much as possible.
as a person, you will know. There are some people, and I'm one of them, who needs to read and read and read and read and see it and see it and see it. But there's other people who, if I never see this again, I'm fine. You'll know who you are, and so follow what you want to do. If it makes you really anxious to read about it and see it on TV, don't do that. But if it helps you, and I think it helps Lola, she's that kind of person that wants to know. You feel the important thing for all living things, but we're talking about humans, is to feel safe and feel in control. And what happened, of course, is that they were not safe and they were totally out of control. But if I can control that TV and turn it off, I feel good about that. Or if I can get more information and that helps me feel in control, then you listen to it more.
And I think she's been really, really healthy in that. I mean, just to come back with the whole I'm a crisis actor.
Yes, great.
For a
Sense of
kid
humor.
that age to know, I should say young adult,
Adolescent.
to know and parse so quickly that this is BS, this is complete and utter BS, and this is truth because I've lived it, and be able to separate that and write it off as the garbage it is.
Yeah.
I think that's really healthy because the more it comes at her, she's going to know that's garbage too, and that's garbage. Because there are people out there, we know, like from InfoWars with the whole Jade Helm scare right here in Texas,
Right,
that
right.
it was complete BS. So, for her to be able to do that at that age, I think is really tremendous.
So here's what I said to the kids as we were about to leave, and their rally was kind of wrapping up. I was talking to David Hogg, and he's the face of the school, basically. He's the kid that keeps getting on the news.
Very articulate kid.
Very well. And they all are.
Yeah.
And they all have great stories to tell, and they do it well. I mean, this was a group of kids that you go, yeah.
America's in good hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? If they're calling you crisis actors, and the more you hear it, and right around that time, it was when it was welling up quite a bit. I said, if they're calling you these things, you're getting under their skin. Keep it up.
That's
You're doing a great
thing
job.
To say, David.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. So
because not only told them to keep it up, they're doing a good job, but you said how.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting under their skin.
Yeah. Speaking of getting under their skin, it is Pledge Drive, and we're going to get under your skin until that phone rings some more. We got a pledge from Larry, and the pledge was in honor of the late, great Patti Fink.
Oh, thank you, Larry.
But we do need some more calls. The number 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. And talking about control, the station always gives us a list of reasons that you should pledge, and one of them is you rarely hear this music anywhere else, but it's your only chance to control what goes on the radio in Dallas. The shows that stay on the air, and by the way, we're coming up on our 35th anniversary. Next pledge drive will be 35 years that we've been on, 35 years of listening to us.
We should pay them.
I am so tired of listening to me, but for 35 years this show's been on the air. We're one of the very few original shows on KNON, and the way you control what is on the air on KNON is by pledging. And we're not just looking for large pledges, but we are $32,693 away from our total station goal. So if somebody would like to pledge $32,693,
please do.
And then we'll shut up about it until August.
Until August.
And if you would, just please put LW or Lambda Weekly or that queer show.
If you're pledging online, make sure you designate that it's Lambda Weekly, just so we get credit for it. The money will come to the station however you do it. You can split your pledge if you're pledging on another show or going online. You can say it's for whatever show, the Amharic show that is on after us, the Jewish Music Hour before us, whichever shows you want to pledge to, just let us know, or let the station know, just so they know who you're voting for and how you want to control what's on the air. Last week we got a call just before we went on the air, and it was somebody who was obviously not listening to the station, and Lerone took the call, and he was saying
he was not going to support us because all we do was bash Republicans.
Now, first of all, he wasn't listening because we weren't bashing Republicans, because it was Jewish music that was on at the time that he called.
Exactly.
But he felt he was controlling by not supporting. So if you'd like to support what we do, and we're not always bashing Republicans, I'll say this week one of my favorite politicians in the country is John McCain.
Yes.
So give us a call, 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. We'll be right back right after this.
This is William. I watch Lambda Weekly on YouTube, recorded live at the KNON studios at 1 p.m. Sunday afternoons.
Do a pledge. And welcome back to Lambda Weekly. We weren't expecting, I thought there were two, I guess not. Okay. That went faster than we thought. Welcome back to Lambda Weekly. I'm Dave Taffet here in the studio with Lerone Landis. Patti will be back with us next week. Okay. Let me turn you on. There she is. So she is here. Oh, okay.
She hadn't been on this whole time?
Yes, she was. Just during the break, we turned all the mics off so that you can't hear the nonsense that goes on during the pledge break.
That's true.
This is your professionally run radio station, KNON. It is Pledge Drive. Give us a call, 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. We are the longest running LGBT talk show anywhere. We've been coming up on our 35th anniversary, and it's just what you'd expect, an LGBT talk show in Dallas in 1983, right?
Right.
And because it was something not expected, that's why KNON did it, and KNON has always done that. On the music shows, you hear musicians that you never hear anywhere else. On the talk shows, we're not like the other talk shows that you hear, especially
Not
the
at
ones
all.
on AM radio, because they represent one point of view. We're not that point of view.
And we're award-winning.
And we are
We
recognized
best-
by the legislature, too.
Right.
That's right.
So 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. Give us a call. Each show gets its time slot based on the amount of pledges received. Not enough pledges and the show is gone. So we're not just looking for a dollar amount. And, we said we have about $32,000 to go to reach the station's goal for this pledge drive, and we'll get that this week. But it's also the number of pledges. So if you can't make a large pledge, a smaller pledge is always appreciated because it shows that we have a listener who is invested in the station. So 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. Give us a call. Josh's are standing by, which is different than other stations in the area that are pledge drive driven, where you're calling to a call center in another city.
They don't have Josh's.
They don't have Josh's, or if they do,
Or Chris's.
Our Joshes and Chris's are right here. You want to talk to him? Say hi, Josh. He's right here.
Hi.
See? Our Joshes are right here in the studio with us.
He is standing by and
Standing
waiting
by
for your
and
call.
waiting.
and that is one thing. Every show is responsible for setting up their own Josh or Chris to answer the phones. But it's always done right here in the studio because we care about who our listeners are, and we appreciate your calling.
And there's more than one way to pledge. You don't even have to call us. You can go online, particularly if you're driving. When you get where you're going, don't do it while you're driving. Go to knon.org, knon.org, and click Pledge Now. And then you can see photos of the pledge premiums and click on what you want, fill out the form right there. And if you would, please just put Lambda Weekly or, David Taffet, I guess.
or
the DJ.
the late whoever.
That's right. You can make an honorary donation or honoring the late Patti Fink. Again, thank you, Larry. I love that.
And the number is 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. And if you do put, the late whoever, our station manager knows that he always refers to her that way.
They'll
too.
figure it out.
We're talking to Candy Marcum. She is a counselor, and she's usually with us during Pledge Drive. And we always appreciate that you're here during our Pledge Drive show because, it's not like a regular interview.
It's fun.
We chop it up. But we do try to make our Pledge Drive shows fun because we want people to listen through the show.
Yes.
Last week at City Hall, there were protests to the NRA. And on City Hall Plaza, there were protesters who were protesting against the NRA, and there were counter-protesters who were protesting the protesters. And in support of the NRA, they were gathered at one side of City Hall Plaza, and the police directed them around the main protest while it was going on. When it was over, there was really only one event going on City Hall Plaza, and that was a religious service by Faith Forward Dallas. So there were Jews, Christians, and Muslims who were there at the prayer service. And the counter-protesters carrying AR-15s walked right through it.
Oh, geez.
And Rachel Bachman, who is the minister at Oak Lawn United Methodist Church, was sitting next to her, and she said, "Well, that was different." And I said, "Oh, that doesn't happen in your church very often?" And she said, "Not too often." So, Candy, tell me about people who walk through prayer services with semi-automatic military-style assault weapons slung over their backs.
Well, the first thing that's so sad is that it was not illegal. That is the saddest thing to start with. The second thing is it feels very much like bullying to me. That these people wanted to scare the other people, wanted to intimidate the other people, wanted to have control over the other people, and wanted to. I think it was a threatening gesture.
And here's where some of their signs were threatening. You know how normally they're saying you just want to take our guns. We're saying, you know what, we've given up on that, but we'd like some sensible gun legislation. We'd like people who shouldn't have guns to have to go through a mental health evaluation, or if they have gone through it and they're seen to be unfit, they can't get a gun. We want to close gun show loopholes. If you buy a gun, you can't just privately sell a gun to somebody else. And we believe in registration of guns. A whole list of things. The kids at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, right after the shooting, they all went up en masse to Tallahassee, and they lobbied for and got legislation.
Right.
What I love about these kids is they're pissed off about it, because even though it got rid of bump stocks and it got rid of or raised the age of buying these semi-automatic weapons from 18 to 21, it also had a provision for arming teachers. They're furious about that. Teachers don't want it. The kids don't want guns in their schools. So they're not happy that they got the legislation. They're annoyed that the legislators didn't listen to them.
Right.
But we want some sensible things. They got bump stocks made illegal in the state of Florida. Congratulations, you did something positive.
Something not done really across the country,
right.
In red states especially.
Right. So the new thing from the NRA is, admit it, you actually want to take all of our guns. And that's what their sign said. Admit it, you want to take all. You know what? I would, and not all of them, not hunting rifles, not, not things like that, but I would like to take from these crazy people, and the people who were on City Hall Plaza were certifiable crazy people. But I would. Oh, you should have seen the hatred in their eyes as they were walking by. That's not normal. That's
rage.
It's yeah, and they have semi-automatic weapons slung over their backs.
That's part of that bullying.
Exactly.
They're so angry. And, what they're angry about is whatever happened to them when they were kids. They had some kind of bullying dad or something like that. It's not about that they're so crazy about guns. It's that they're just crazy, and they're very, very angry. And you're right. Those kids passed legislation that had never been passed before. The problem, as I see it, is that once a person becomes elected, a political figure, they want to be elected again and again and again. And it costs money to do that. And the NRA is a big old fat lobby, and people get lots of money. So how can they vote for what they know is right, which is who needs those kind of guns, when they're getting reelected with that money? It's very selfish.
Want to know the most horrible statistic?
Sure.
The week after the massacre at the high school in Parkland, Florida, donations to the NRA soared.
Yep.
I thought it was interesting that they've installed Oliver North, who flaunted the Constitution and selling illegal arms.
Okay, I have to tell you this story. You know how when you don't like the way news is covered on Fox News, you just call them and they'll fix their story? I got an email from Fox News telling me how I should change my story about Oliver North.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Uh-huh. That's what I said when I got I looked at the email and I said, wow, they are kidding, aren't they?
Well, they read you, for one thing. That's wonderful.
Uh-huh.
I love it.
I loved the comedian John Fusel saying, he said, Oliver North illegally sold weapons to Iran after they'd killed our Marines in Beirut, and now will be in charge of selling AR-15s after massacres.
Okay, here's the other thing about Oliver North. Now, he's a convicted felon, and so my headline was convicted felon named president of NRA.
Now, where's the lie with that?
Because his conviction was later overturned.
Yeah.
It was vacated, technically, but he was still convicted. However, in the state of Virginia, where the NRA is located, he does not have the right to carry a gun.
Awesome. That's awesome.
I like that.
Did you
I feel
put that
safer.
in your article?
I didn't know it until later. I did not know that fact, and I got that
And I
from...
wonder if he knows it.
he probably... Or cares.
Right. You know he's got guns.
I was about to say, I'm sure that law probably doesn't apply to him.
He's got guns.
As far as... I can't say that for sure, but...
That was such an enormous thing in the 80s. And, of
Yes.
course,
It was.
Reagan at the time said, I know nothing. I know nothing. I know nothing.
Can't remember.
Can't remember. Don't recall.
Josh, those of you who were...
Young during the 80s.
Yes,
what?
those of us
Don't
who were
remember
young.
or what?
He wasn't even, he wasn't even born then.
It is
But we can't remember the phone number.
Okay, thank
Number's
you.
972-647-1893.
You're learning to do terrible segues. Congratulations.
That was an awesomely bad segue. We're on.
Give us a call and help us with this pledge drive. 972-647-1893.
And Josh are standing by waiting for your call because I'll bet I'm just taking a wild stab at this because we know stabbing is just as bad as guns, right? But this is shot in the dark because no other station covered the massacre and the convention, the NRA convention, quite the way we did.
I'm sure they did. There's some other premiums that I didn't mention that I think are totally appropriate for the weather right now. I didn't even realize this, but Knon, we have Bluetooth headphones. That's awesome. So when you go out jogging or whatever, you want to listen to your iPad or whatever.
Or this show, maybe.
Or this show,
Hey.
have some fancy Knon Bluetooth headphones, and those go for $75. Also, gotta have a water bottle. We have a sports water bottle. You gotta have that. Stay hydrated in this summer heat. That pledge goes. You can get that for a pledge of $40. I think I know what I'm going to get this time.
Water bottle.
A water bottle.
Good.
So you can
Because you can have enough Knon T-shirts
yeah.
after 35 years.
Exactly. Running out of space. So
I have
nice.
one of those that he hits by Ziploc now, where you vacuum seal it.
Yes.
I have one of those of some old Knon T-shirts.
That's awesome.
And still have 2 drawers full of Knon T-shirts.
So if you'd like to start your collection of Knon T-shirts, call 972-647-1893. And I'm just pulling out some of the stuff the station gave us, and I don't wear my glasses except when I'm reading, and I thought it said grow a pair. It says get a pair of tickets to every Knon benefit for an entire year.
Where is your head, David?
He's not wearing his glasses now.
Well,
Well, he put them on in
because
red.
I put them on,
He
I
memorized.
read what it was, and yes. So, but Knon has 40 to 50 shows every year. We're your live music station. There's no other station in Dallas that puts on this many shows. We play great music on your radio and bring great music to your local stages. One thing we don't do is bring talk shows to local stages. We have to change that, maybe. But don't miss any of our shows with an elite music sponsor. That's our outside shows. And the types of events we have is live music at Sons of Herman Hall, Poor David's Pub, Texas Theater. The Red Elvises come at least once a year to perform for KNON. We have car shows, the annual KNON Blues Fest, Tejano benefits, the Mardi Gras Gumbo Party, which is one of your and Aaron's favorites,
Absolutely.
Patty. But to get a KNON Elite Music sponsorship, it's $500, and your name plus a guest will be on a guest list for a year at every event. You don't have to worry about getting tickets. You're just on the guest list, and you receive 2 KNON items of your choosing in addition. Most of the KNON events include dinner, and so if you go to 4 or 5 events, you paid for yourself.
Oh, it's a great. When Aaron and I have done that a couple of times, and it's just great to be able to show up. You know, because your name's on the list. You don't have to, do you have the tickets? Do you have, I didn't bring the tickets. Did you? Don't have to worry about it. If you're on the list, you have to show up, and you have a great time. And like David said, it's like every other weekend, if not more often. Sometimes we haven't even.
They're actually more often than that because it's like 40 events and they're always over the weekend, or most of the time over the weekend. So give us a call, 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. What are some of the premiums that you have over there?
Another one is, again, the weather. That means outdoor concerts are starting to pop up. You can get a Knon concert folding chair. Those are so comfortable, and you can use it anytime, not just at a concert. Anyway, those go for $100. What else do we have here? The Ray-Ban sunglasses. That sun is shining. Got to block it out. Look cool with the Knon Ray-Bans. You can get a pair of those for $30. And of course, we got our T-shirts and our aprons, and those are mainstays. So get any of those. Call us at 972-647-1893.
And Josh is on the phone. We're going to just take a quick break. You're listening to Lambda Weekly on 89.3 Knon FM. I'm Dave Taffet here in the studio with Lerone Landis and the late Patti Fink. Our guest is the inimitable Candy Marcum, and we'll be back with more right after this.
I'm Patti Fink, and you're listening to Lambda Weekly on Knon 89.3 FM.
This is Rollins Gilliland, and I'm listening to Lambda Weekly on 89.3.
Okay, so it was just running continuously, and this is Lambda Weekly, and like she said on our bumper, she said, we're live, we're local, and we're the voice of the people. We're usually alive. It's Sunday afternoon, so not so much all the time, but we are live today. It is Pledge Drive. 972-647-1893 is the number. Give us a call. We are local, except for Patti, who's in London covering the royal wedding, and we are the voice of the people. At least we're the voice of the crazy people,
So I fit right in.
So yeah, exactly. You do. Exactly.
Welcome, Candy.
Okay, Lerone, before the show, before Candy got here, we were talking, you were saying you had a conversation with some other gay parents.
Oh, today's it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Yes, Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
And so one of my gay dad groups that I belong to, there's a conversation I started earlier in the week about when they are told Happy Mother's Day. And how do most of them respond to it? And about 75% of the guys said they were fine with it, and why. But some of them really, about 25%, did not take it well at all. And I just thought, oh, that's interesting. And, I get it. We're in this age of gender sensibility, is what I like to call it. Not just trans people want to be gender correctly. Some people take offense to it, Just like, if you were to tell a lesbian parent, Happy Father's Day. I don't know.
I was just thinking about that. How would that feel?
How would that feel? And so every year Danny and I get texts and calls saying Happy Mother's Day. And I got a really, really, really nice one today this morning from a straight male friend of mine. And told me he said, well, you're a mom and dad. He said, I just want to, I think you're one of the best parents I know. So that's kind of how I just take all of it. I'm like, well, it's coming from a benevolent place.
Absolutely.
I just kind of laugh about it and say thank you and go on. But what do you think about that?
I think it has a bit of sexism in it.
Yeah.
I think it has a great big amount of sexism in it. I think growing up, now I'm much older than you all are, so maybe it's not that way now, though I think it still is. The worst thing you could say to a little boy is you run like a girl, you throw like a girl.
You're a sissy.
Yeah, you fight like a girl.
You like to be in the kitchen with your mother. You need to be out mowing the lawn with me. And that's because their parents, their dad was told the same thing, and maybe their mother too. I mean, sexism isn't just comes from males, comes from females too. But I think it would be very interesting to ask a group of lesbians how it would feel for them to be called Daddy or Happy Father's Day. Personally, I'd love it because I kind of say that at home anyway. Who's your daddy? Right. But I do think it has to do with sexism. I really do. And so you've got 75% of your guys are fine with it, 25% are not, and yet there they have children and they're glad to parent them, and so they're good folk. But I think it's it hits a nerve.
Yeah, I personally don't take offense to it. one, it's never come from, if it came from a stranger, they're trying to be funny about it, that's a totally different ball game. But most of the people who have said this to me are friends and family. I know they're just well-meaning. It's kind of funny. Again, it's a benevolent gesture. But also, I never really think, even before Danny and I became parents, I've never really thought of myself really as a father or mother. I'm a parent.
Right. And they don't have that day. They don't have parent day. And so there are things that I have to do that would be for my kid that are traditionally considered, oh, that's a mother's role. Well, I don't sit around thinking, oh, well, my kid doesn't have a mother, so she's going to be left out. What does your daughter do when it's Mother's Day?
We just celebrate. As soon as I leave here, we're going over to Denny's mom's house. We just celebrate with her. But
does she give either one of y'all a card or anything?
No.
How old is she?
She's 9 now.
She could.
Yeah, she could. But Father's Day, she definitely hits us up both.
Well, it starts young.
And what I thought of immediately when Lerone said this was, it's because gay people are always accused of being effeminate, and lesbians are accused of being butch, and they're taking offense to that.
It is some homophobia. I would say that. But think about it. At least that's how it was for me. If a girl was athletic in grade school, she was called a tomboy, and that was pretty neat.
It was.
But if boys wanted to play with the girls and build their little houses that they like to do on the playground, they were called sissies.
Even though most little boys had like a G.I. Joe or whatever, and they, nobody called them dolls, but that's what they were. They were dolls.
Absolutely, Betty. You're absolutely right. Just a male doll. Yeah.
Or, the military little soldiers.
The little soldiers.
But I do think, you're right, David. I think there is homophobia in it. And I think it's something that's also, we have to deal with gender roles and gender, what do I want to say, vision. What does a man look like? What does a woman look like? How does a man act? How does a woman act? And I'll just tell you, I get them all mixed up. People may ask, is that person gay or straight? Well, I can't tell sometimes. And sometimes I can't tell if they're male or female. I mean, and who cares?
Right. Because it's not going to affect you one way or the other.
No,
and my friend who's here in the studio with us, he's a single parent and he's straight. And Trey, you said you get that kind of thing too sometimes. So, it's not.
Well, happy Mother's Day, Trey.
There are lots of single straight people who are filling the role of both parents also.
Absolutely.
And I think, what do you guys think? I would think that those parents on the opposite gender parent day would be fine if their children gave them a card.
Oh, I think so.
If she gave you a Happy Mother's Day card, you would get it.
Oh, of course. I mean, still give her a big old hug and kiss and say thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I guess it's a matter of redefining the family somehow, or rethinking roles, because
gender roles, what in the world is that?
Your mother does this thing, your father does that,
right, exactly.
And it just simply doesn't apply right now. Speaking of things that don't apply, my next announcement is not going to apply to anything we were just talking about. It's Pledge Drive this week.
You can apply your credit card.
For this show, our goal is we're a few $100s away from our goal, so we're getting much closer to where we need to be. The station's about $32,000 away from where it needs to be.
200?
A few. We're a few. 2 to 3. I haven't counted exactly what we've gotten during the show today.
Thank you, Candy. Thank you for your pledge.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Candy.
And thank you also to Joseph, who called in. And that was a call for the Jewish Music Hour. You don't have to call for this show, during this show, or for that show. We're happy to take a pledge, because it all goes to the station. And we marked Joseph's pledge for the Jewish Music Hour. I'm delighted to do that. 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. 2 other ways you can pledge. You can go to our website, knon.org, and hit the Pledge Now button. It has all the information that you need, which is name, address, credit card number, and phone number. That's about all we need.
And who to apply it to.
And who to apply it to.
Weekly.
And pick your pledge premium. The other thing that you can do is to give a Knon bank draft. Patti, would you tell us about that?
Yes, because I've done this. If you'd like to call us and tell us you'd like to do a bank draft, you can do it with your checking or savings account. And if you just call us and let us know that you'd like to do that, we'll take enough information for the station manager to give you a shout back and get the further information that you need. But you can have it automatically deducted from your checking or savings account, your choice, and have it at the first of the month or the middle of the month, whatever you'd like to do with that. There's a way to give every month, and you probably don't even miss it if it's coming out of your bank account. And it's a great way to have sustaining income into the station to pay for the things that, like the lights and the tower rental. And
let me suggest some pledges for that. If you'd like to pay 1 day's engineering services for the tower, which is what mostly keeps the signal going from here to the tower, that's a $116 pledge. If you'd like to pay our office rent, the tower lease alone is $162.53 a day. So if you'd like to pledge $162.53, or if you're really generous, $163, and let us do what we need with the extra 47 cents. Give us a call, 972-647-1893. Our office rent comes to $92 a day.
But I also think it's important for people to know that you all here on Lambda Weekly and all the other radio hosts do this voluntarily. No one has a salary. No one is paid that is hosting a show.
Except for Patti. She gets a check of how much?
Zero. But okay. I spoke to Gene Soslow, who oftentimes does the Jewish Music Hour, a great longtime friend of mine, and he's now on the board of Knon. And I asked him when he was, elected to the board, I said, could you please get direct deposit for us? Because, get that zero to go into the bank directly, so we wouldn't have to take that check to the bank every week. So he's taking care of that.
He's working on that.
And if you make a pledge calling 972-647-1893, that's 972-647-1893, your money will go directly to not doing that.
Exactly.
Where it goes to really is the operations of the station.
Right.
You're not paying for a big block-long studio that has every amenity. It's good basic studio. We have great equipment, and we get the signal to the tower. That's what you're paying for.
And we're on 24/7. It's continuously with volunteers in the studio every moment of the day and night.
And for those of you who think the way I do, that means we're on 31.
We're what?
What?
24/7.
Okay. No one thinks that way.
All right.
I always do.
Moving on.
So we are coming up on our 35th anniversary. But you got to help us make it there. It's not a guarantee that we will be on if you don't help support us. So give us a call at 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893.
We have a list of our monthly expenses, and it's $175 in legal fees. That doesn't include hush money, so you can donate for that legal.
For all those porn stars, you mean?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly. 972-647-1893. We're trying to get an interview with Stormy Daniels. She does live here.
That's right.
She lives in Dallas?
Yeah.
I think
Forney. She lives in Forney.
Oh.
But I think she's originally from Kaufman.
Oh,
which is near us,
which
too.
is near us,
Yeah, but she lives in Forney right now. So.
I heard that they should have used that hush money on Rudy Giuliani.
Oh, Aaron saw this great thing earlier this week. It said something about, I hired Rudy Giuliani for my traffic ticket, and thank God I did, because now I'm he's moved it down to first-degree murder. He's not serving as president very well.
972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. And the urgency for you to pledge just got that much higher because we just eliminated all our potential Trump supporters from donating to the station. 972-647-1893. Please help us stay on the air and
let's do a great pledge drive this week. Get our part done and sealed up so that we can help the rest of the station get their part. as we move forward to our 35th anniversary next pledge drive.
Yeah.
That's right. And once again, that's 972-647-1893. Josh is standing by the phone with his hand on the receiver, waiting to pick up the phone again. We were just talking about, it being Mother's Day today, and do you know, for the first time in over 40 years, I realized, well, I don't have my mother, who died when I was in my 20s, but I do have a mother-in-law, and for the first time bought flowers for Mother's Day.
Awesome.
It just didn't occur to me, and on the card I wrote, see, it's even on time. We didn't buy these at the last minute on the way down, which is what Brian and I always did. So, it's the first time I even thought about it being Mother's Day.
Oh, I bet she really appreciated that.
I'm not sure she's home. I hope she was to receive them. I haven't spoken to her yet today, but just sent a little message online.
Very cool.
What other general advice do you have for our listeners to get them through the next 3 months before we see your lovely face again?
Well, let's see. I would think, I think the most important thing is to have your feelings, no matter if they're uncomfortable or not. They're yours. You get to have them. Intimacy is about not only telling someone how you feel, but showing them how you feel. And there aren't a whole lot of people that we would cry in front of, but there are some, and we should do that if we feel like it.
Even if it's an ugly cry.
And we're all about 3 when we cry like that, and that's just adorable.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, good. We're just about out of time.
We're out of time. Still time for you to give us a call, though. 972-647-1893.
And Patti, you're off to the royal wedding?
On this coming Saturday.
But you'll be back on Sunday.
I'll be back on Sunday. And I'll have
That's
a full
amazing
report.
how
What a
that
trooper.
works.
For all of us here at Lambda Weekly, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
This is William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please leave comments below, or follow, or subscribe to us and get notices of all our videos. We love it, even when you call.